안녕하세요. 미주중앙일보 원영석입니다. 오늘은 안토니오 비야라이고사 캘리포니아 주지사 후보를 모시고 인터뷰를 하도록 하겠습니다.
I'm the former mayor of Los Angeles, the speaker of the California State Assembly, which is the legislature of California, and here today once again with Korea Daily.
Yes.
And so although I didn't vote for him, I said, and although I believe that the things he says and the things he says he's going to do are a threat to who we are as a democracy, I've also said we need to work with him where we can and take him on where we have to. I think it's not enough to just criticize him. I think we've got to show that California is going to chart a different path. She called me about 3 weeks after the election. We had a really good conversation. She was very positive. She's going to stay involved, I believe, but she's not looking back. They come for a better life for their children. I think we need to give them a pathway to citizenship, a pathway so that we can integrate them better. So I believe that we need to pass immigration reform. Obviously, Donald Trump wants to build walls. I don't think that's the answer. No country has ever deported 12 million people. Latinos, and particularly Mexicans, are only about 60% of the undocumented. These are our families. These are hardworking people. So my hope is that he'll change his position, because that's certainly deporting 12 million people never happened. It's not going to happen. You could never build a wall and insulate yourself from the world. Every once in a while, when there's a bad economy, people say, let's slow down immigration. Usually we incarcerate them here, and then they get deported. There is nobody that has said people who kill people, people who commit serious felonies, shouldn't be held accountable and shouldn't be deported. And they actually commit crimes less because they're working. I mean, they're working in your restaurants, they're working in factories, they're working, sometimes 2 and 3 jobs. Well, I was mayor, 50% drop in crime, violent crime. 50% drop in homicides.
You increased
and
police.
Grew the police department by 1,000 officers, and Korean community wanted a police station in the Korean community, and I gave them Olympic Division. I support the TPP as a general concept. Can we make it a little better? Sure. But let's be clear. We need to be open to trade with Korea and Japan, Singapore and China, Hong Kong and Taiwan. Asia need to be working together. 9 out of 10, and trading with one another, 9 out of 10 new markets for goods are outside of the United States of America. Are there some winners and losers? Yes. But there'll be a lot more losers if we're not trading with the world. That's just a fact. Look at all of the Western industrialized nations of the world. All of them have health care for all their people. This was the only country that didn't provide health care for everyone. Obamacare, a step in the right direction. 20 million people have health care as a result of it. Was it perfect? No. Do we need to improve on it? Yes. I'll tell you what happened. A lot of the healthy had to pay more so the sick could have health care. We didn't have a public option. We didn't have enough competition. And so more and more people were opposed. But remember, right now it's about 50-50. 50 for it, 50 against it. Watch when all the people who had health care don't have it anymore. The insurance plans are going to be full of sick people, not the healthy people. And if it's full of sick people, the insurance companies are going to go bankrupt. We're the 6th largest economy in the world, and yet of the top 300 cities with the highest poverty rate, 77 of them are in California. 77, so we're 15% of the population, and almost 25% of the poverty.
Yeah.
In the next 18 months, 19 months, you're going to hear me talk about jobs, jobs, jobs. I think we learned from the last election,
You're right.
people want a leader who's going to focus on their pocketbook,
You're right.
focus on the economy. Slimmer, trimmer version of it,
Okay.
I call it 2.0. As you know, in Los Angeles, you see more and more homeless. I think since I left office, there's about a 36% increase in homelessness. We've seen a growth in homelessness in the last 3 years. We've seen a growth in violent crime. I think violent crime is up almost 30%. So we're going to have to focus on housing, economic development. You know, when we let people out of prison because of the court decision that said our prisons were too full. And remember, California in the United States has 5% of the population, 25% of the world's prisoners.
Mm-hmm. That's sad.
So the courts have said we have to let these people out of prison. But we can't just let them out. We have to have programs for them. We have to have housing. You know, you can't say to someone, you committed a crime, you did your time, and then you can't get a job. I mean, think about that. It just doesn't make sense. So we've got a lot of work to do. I did it because when my ex-wife said to our friends that she was going to take my name, I was surprised. And I said, well, if you're going to take my name, I'm going to take your name. Okay. It was a gesture of recognizing the equality of the sexes. And there's one other reason why I thought it made sense. My father left me when I was 5. I grew up in a home of domestic violence and alcoholism. He left 3 kids with 1 mom. I didn't feel like that name had any real significance for me. My mother raised me, so I didn't have this loyalty to the name that somebody else. So that was the other smaller reason for it. And that's why I didn't want to go back to that name.
Yep.
I now have 6 kids. She's given me 2 boys. One's a lawyer in Mexico, Javier, and the other, Sebastian, is at Loyola High School. So I now have a basketball team and a reserve. 6.
Oh, okay.
From 15 to 41. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for once again. I want to say that as I knock on your door and ask for your support to be the next governor of this state, that you remember the things we've done together and the things we'll do together in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for stopping by,
Thank
Antonio.
you. Thank you.